भाविक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्रील गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपार शतर शत शिशुमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षदास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल विष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौड़िया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंद आदि श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर भजन रहस्य की जय। जय श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय। तो his uh, his विरह महोत्सव की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. Let's do the Mangala Charan. Then I will see who is joining us. Where is it? Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Kodiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinorang Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamatanum Yamuna Tatanagarananda Sutam Murali Kalagita Vinora Parang Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Smaragoragadadara Kelikalam Bhavagauragadadara Pakshachara Shrinugauragadadara Charukatam Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamam charanantikam bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay kshiptascha kamadhitaranga madhe kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, dear devotees. Let's see who's there. Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Rukmini Didi, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, and Yashoda Didi, Haribo. And now let's look on YouTube and Facebook. I see Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Vidyalala Sadidi, and it says there's 5 people watching now, so I don't know who the other 2 people are. I'm guessing maybe Indira Mataji and Rohini Nandan Prabhu will be watching later. I think so. Yeah, all the devotees watching in the future also, like Shachi Devi, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Jayade Prabhu, Revati Didi, and Krishna Rose, Manjari Didi. Yeah, Haribo. Maybe Krishna Mai Didi is there. Haribo. All right. So yesterday we ended the program. I mentioned that we're going to just read about Srila Rupa Goswami today. But then I realized that we're supposed to finish this second chapter of Bhajana-rahasya before Baladev Purnima, and we still have a bit more to go because I was hoping to finish Bhajana-rahasya by the end of Kartik. And so that means that we have to finish a chapter every Purnima and every Amavasya. So Baladev Purnima is just when is that? I think it's like the day after tomorrow, isn't it? Or is it tomorrow? One second, let me just look at the calendar. Yeah, it's the day after tomorrow. Yeah. So ideally we should finish Bhajana-rahasya tomorrow, actually. Like this chapter, but I don't think we're gonna do that. We might go a little bit over time. Oh, and today is the appearance day of Sripad Bhakti Vibhud Bodhayan Maharaj. So, yeah, all glories to your Guru Maharaj. Say Shri Mataji. Haribol. Okay, so what was okay, so we're going to read a little bit about Rupa Goswami because I think for some of you, at least those of you on the other side of the world, I think it's still Srila Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, right? And so we'll just read a little something and then we will continue on with Bhajana-rahasya. And yeah, there's tons and tons and tons of Harikatha about Rupa Goswami that's being live streamed all throughout the day. Um, yeah, from like after our program all the way till 1 p.m. It's like so for like I don't know how many hours that is, maybe 4 or 5 hours in the morning. There's glorifications of Rupa Goswami in English that's being streamed online, and then in the evening time, oh my God, yesterday they started bhajans at 4:30 and then class went on all the way till 10 p.m. Yeah, very long program. Like, everybody was sitting in the temple room all the way till 10 p.m. for Hari Katha. So there's definitely no shortage of Rupa Goswami Katha today if you want to tune in to any of the live streams going on. But and that's this program's going on, so it's like 10 hours of Rupa Goswami Katha for 3 days. So like yeah, 30 hours of Rupa Goswami Katha, something like that. A lot of Katha. So yeah, I know our program's a bit short for Rupa Goswami this year, but um, yeah. Anyhow, there's yeah. So this is from my Srila Gurudev's book Vrajmandal Parikrama. And this is the Katha at Ter Kadamba. We all know Ter Kadamba. This place is situated exactly halfway between Nandagaon and Jabat. Being a place of Radha and Krishna's Ras Leela, a platform has been constructed here in memory of this pastime. I guess I'll just keep on reading this. While grazing the cows in the afternoon, Krishna used to climb this kadamba tree and call Shamali, Dholi, Pitambari, Kalindi, and his other dear cows with his flute. Hearing Krishna's call, all the cows would assemble here immediately, and Krishna would count them on his jeweled necklace. Yeah, Krishna had his own japamala for counting all the names of the cows to make sure everybody was there. If some cows were missing, he would again call out their names by sounding his flute, and only when they were all assembled would he return home with the herd. Isn't that interesting? We have a japamala to chant Krishna's name, but he has a japamala to count his cows' names. Okay, so sometimes in the gentle light of the full moon night, Krishna would climb this kadamba tree and call the sakis by playing their names on the sweet notes of his flute. These gopis would forget their bodies, minds, and worldly cares, arriving to meet Krishna in a spellbound condition. They would then perform ras with Krishna, which was full of singing and dancing. Since Krishna climbed a kadamba tree and would call Ter, he would call and gathered the cows and gopis here. This place is known as Ter Kadamba. There used to be many kadamba trees here, but they have all disappeared on account of stagnant rainwater. Great souls who perform bhajan here periodically plant kadamba trees at this place. And now that place is being looked after by, is acquired by Srila Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. And they've done a beautiful job at renovating it. There's tons of kadamba trees there now. It's such a, beautiful place. So on the day of Gopashtami, the Vrajvasis bring small Vrajvasi boys dressed like Krishna and Balaram from Nandagaon to this place and stage a program of congregational singing called Samaj. They also worship the cows beautifully and feed them grass and jaggery. Okay, so now Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir. Adjacent to Ter Kadamba to the west is the Bhajan Kutir of Srila Rupa Goswami. He often performed bhajan here at this secluded place, remembering Krishna's sweet pastimes. He also composed many of his treasured books here. Whenever the sentiments of deep separation from Srimati Radhika, who is comprised of Mahabhav, whenever these feelings of separation manifested in his heart, then verses of separation would emanate from his mouth. At that time, all the leaves of the kadamba tree here would dry up in the fire of separation and fall to the ground. And when the meeting of the divine couple manifested in his heart, he recited verses of their meeting, and the kadamba tree would sprout new leaves. That is the power of Srila Rupa Goswami's words, his writings, the verses that he would speak. Just by speaking them, the separation verses, the kadamba tree would dry up and all the leaves would fall. And then by speaking the pastimes of meeting, then all the leaves would come back. And amazing, huh? And so once Srila Sanatana Goswami came here to meet with Srila Rupa Goswami, they began to talk about Krishna's ambrosial pastimes and became so absorbed in the narrations about him that they forgot about the time. In the afternoon, when their absorption abated somewhat, Srila Rupa Goswami thought, "It is time to honor Prasad, but I have nothing to honor Sri Sanatana Goswami." This caused him some concern. Just then, a beautiful girl in ordinary dress came there and said to Rupa Goswami, Baba, my mother has sent rice, milk, and sugar with me. Quickly make sweet rice and eat." Saying this, the girl left, only to return a short while later. "Baba," she said, "because you are talking, you have no time to cook. I will cook for you." She collected some dry cow dung patties that were nearby and produced a fire simply by her breathing. In little time, she presented Srila Rupa Goswami with very sweet and fragrant sweet rice and said, "Baba, Offer this to Thakurji and quickly take some yourself. I must go, or else my mother will chastise me for being late. And the beautiful girl departed. Sri Rupa Goswami offered the sweet rice to Krishna and placed it before Sanatan Goswami. Upon eating the sweet rice, transcendental visions, spurtis of Radha and Krishna manifested in the hearts of the two brothers. They began to lament, calling out, "Oh Radha, oh Radha." Sanatan Goswami said, "I have never tasted such sweet rice. Rupa, did you desire something to eat?" That Kishori was none other than Krishna's dearest, Srimati Radhika. In the future, please do not trouble her like this. Srila Rupa Goswami began to lament, understanding his fault. When he took a little rest, Srimati Radhika appeared in his dream and pacified him with sweet words. And so whenever you go there to Ter Gadamba on like Brajmala Purikama or whenever, they always serve everybody kheer. Wow. Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Par Ki Jai, Srila Sanatan Goswami Par Ki Jai, Jai Shri Vrishabhanunandini Srimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai. Actually, let's read just a little bit more about Rupa Goswami. I'm going to read from, what am I reading from here? We read some yesterday and today we've read Katha from my Gurudev. And now let's just read a little bit from Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. So, okay, so this is Katha that Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj spoke in 2008 and 2009 in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math during the annual 3-day festival that my Gurudev would have. So it says, while inviting Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj to speak on August 3rd, 2009, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj introduced him, saying, Srila Bharati Maharaj is very knowledgeable. He is fully established in Ras and Siddhanta. I hereby request him to accept the role of chairperson for this conference, held in honor of the disappearance tithi of Srila Rupa Goswami. And here is a picture of them sitting together in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math for that festival. But yeah, Srila Gurudev made him the Sabhapati for that festival. Amazing, huh? The place where we have gathered. So now Srila Bharati Maharaj is speaking. I'm just going to read the first couple sections of this, and then you could read the rest later if you like. It's on vishuddhachaitanyavani.com. He says, the place where we have gathered today is Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. Prior to this, Sri Sanatan Goswami and Sri Rupa Goswami came to Vrindavan and fully manifested Sri Vrindavan Dham and her glories again, without which these glories would elude us all today. Therefore, to commemorate them, this place is known as Sri Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. Sri Kavi Karnapur's dissatisfaction. What can we say to glorify Srila Rupa Goswami? Even Kavi Karnapur, an accomplished poet, despite having generously glorified Srila Rupa Goswami using various adjectives, proclaims that his words could not do justice. And there's this beautiful verse, very esoteric verse also. I haven't actually ever fully understood the meaning of every word, but let's see. Priya Swarupe Daita Swarupe Prema Swarupe Sahaja Birupe Nijanurupe Prabhureka Rupe Tatanurupe Swavilasa Rupe. So this is from the Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak, 9:143. He says, Srila Rupa Goswami is very dear to and adored by Sriman Mahaprabhu. He is the embodiment of his love, of Mahaprabhu's love, and he very naturally knows his heart. His form resembles that of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Indeed, it is as if their forms are one. Srila Rupa Goswami is the very embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, because it was through him that the Lord performed many works. Dissatisfied even after such a composition, he eventually gave up, saying, I cannot reach the end of Srila Rupa Goswami's glories. Then worshipable prayer by Srila Rupa Goswami himself. Whenever anyone would pay obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, addressing him as Om Namo Narayana, Mahaprabhu would close his ears in dismay, asserting that an ordinary person should never be addressed as Narayan. When Srila Rupa Goswami first met and offered pranams to Mahaprabhu, he recited the following prayer. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 1953. This is the pranam mantra from Mahaprabhu, like the ultimate standard pranam mantra. Namo Mahapadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. And in this verse, we've heard my Gurudev explain that it contains Mahaprabhu's Nam, Rup, Gun, and Lila. Let's see if we could figure it out again. Okay, so his name, Nam, Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya Namne. He is Krishna, and now he has the name with the name of Krishna Chaitanya. Right, so that's Nam. Let's see, Rup. Gaur Tvishe. He has a golden complexion. Right, so that's Rup. Now let's see the Gun. His qualities is that he is Mahavadanya. He is supremely magnanimous. And then Lila is Krishna Prema Pradaya. What is his pastime? He is distributing Krishna Prem. So there, Nam, Rup, Gun, and Lila, all contained. And it begins with Nama, and it ends with Nama. I offer pranam. All right. Okay, so let's see. At that time, Mahaprabhu neither closed his ears nor admonished Srila Rupa Goswami, right? Because before, people would call him Om Namo Narayana and he'd close his ears, but this time he didn't. Why? Because Rupa Goswami was Tattva Veta, well versed in spiritual truths. He addressed Mahaprabhu in full knowledge of his identity, while others, who called him Narayan, did so out of habit or popular custom. So Mahaprabhu accepted Srila Rupa Goswami's prayer. I pay obeisances to this prayer, not only because it was composed by Srila Rupa Goswami, but also because it was accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So not only is he praying, he doesn't just pray obeisances with this prayer, he prays obeisances to the prayer. Wow, that's really nice. That's the first time I've ever heard that, of offering obeisances to an obeisance mantra. Okay, so now Srila Rupa Goswami's humility. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said one requires 4 qualifications to chant Harinam Kirtan. Srila Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis were firmly established in this doctrine. Tranarapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. Thinking oneself to be even lower and more worthless than the insignificant grass which is trampled beneath the feet of all, being more tolerant than a tree, accepting no honor, but offering respect to all others according to their respective positions, one should continuously chant the holy name of Sri Hari. A Vaishnav once asked me, how is it possible that a Vaishnav becomes more humble as he advances? I replied, so many stalwart Vaishnavas exemplify this principle. Who should I cite as example? Take Rupa Goswami, for instance. Srila Rupa Goswami said, Adaropyaparadhana aviveka hatopyaham tvat karunya pratikshosmi prasida mai madhava. That's from the Stavamala, the Pranam Pranay Stava, verse 14. He says, although I am a mine of offenses, and although I cannot tell right from wrong, I still hope for your mercy. O Madhav, please be merciful to me. Srila Rupa Goswami is the authority in the realm of bhakti. So Srila Rupa Goswami, the authority in the realm of bhakti, is addressing himself as a dustbin or a repository of offenses. In Stavamala, he prays, Bhaktir udan chatiyad, sorry, Bhaktir udan chatiyad yapi madhava natvai mamatila matri parameshwara tatarapita vadika durghata ghatana vidatri Krishna de bhavavantam vande. Srila Rupa Goswami prays, I don't even have a sesame seed worth of bhakti. Why then does he ask for kripa, for mercy, even though he knows that he has no eligibility to ask for that mercy by which one gets bhakti? He says, because you are so glorious, I am begging for your mercy. Even though I have no qualifications or eligibility to request for mercy, you can still award it to me, because your aghata ghatana patiyasi shakti can make what is impossible possible. In this matter, Srila Kaviraj Goswami said, Apane ayogya dekhi mane pankashobha tatapi tomar gune upajay lobha. What's pankshobha mean, I wonder? Okay, so that's from Madhya Lila 1:204. It says, we are very depressed at being unfit candidates for your mercy. Yet since we have heard of your transcendental qualities, we are very much attracted to you. He said, lobh, or attraction for you, comes only because of your glories, although we are not qualified to even approach you. Srila Rupa Goswami and our acharyas naturally displayed this mode of humility without any pretense. So now I'll stop here because it's 7:32. We'll have the next half of the reading to go over Bhajana-rahasya. But the next sections here is knowing Mahaprabhu's heart, significance of teachings at the Dash Ashwamedha Ghat, so Rupa Shiksha, and teachings by Mahaprabhu to Sri Rupa, some teachings by Srila Rupa Goswami, Kleshagni Shubhada, Sadhan Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti, Prem Bhakti, then incomprehensible without mercy, object of prayers of other Goswamis. Then he goes through different prayers of different Goswamis. Yeah, and that's the katha that Srila Bhakti Maharaj speaks. Wow, I want to read through this all. But yeah, anyways, you can read all these sections here from vishuddhachaitanyavani.com. You'll see it there on that website, vcvani.com. But now we are moving to Bhajana-rahasya. Where are we? Where did we leave off last time? Should I do a very quick recap? Let's do a very quick recap. Okay, so Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. We'll recite the second verse of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka and then read. So, Nāmāparādhas bahudā nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaiva me drishamiha janinanuraga. Oh, and Haribol Nandanandan Prabhu and Champak Mataji and yeah, Haribol. Okay. So, oh Bhagavan, Akari, you have manifested Bahuda, many, Namnam, many names. And Tatra, there in those names, Arpita, you have invested, you have placed Nija Sarva Shaktis, all of your own Shaktis, your full potency in those names. Etadrish, oh, sorry. And Smarane, in remembering those names, niyamita. You have not placed you have made no regulations, no restrictions on when they may be remembered. No restrictions regarding the time. At any time, any condition, you can chant them. So etadrishi tava kripa. Such is your mercy, O Bhagavan. Mama, but my durdava, my misfortune is such, idrisham, that iha, here in these names, na anuraga, no attachment, no anurag has ajani, has awakened within me. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives four verses to explain these four parts from this verse, Nam Namakari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatarapita, Niyamita Smaranena Kala, and then Durdaivam. And the rest of this chapter really seems to be explaining Durdaivam to me after those four verses. This misfortune are anarthas, right? Because then he goes through the four types of anarthas, and then how those four anarthas are further divided into four. Let's just do this. And then, sorry. And then he explains how we got into this position. Like, what is this anartha? It is when we don't have any attachment for Krishna. We work so hard to gain just temporary happiness, like the most insignificant fraction of happiness. We endeavor so hard doing all these inauspicious acts out of greed. But for narrations about Krishna, this Harikatha, we don't make any endeavor, even though this Harikatha can destroy all auspiciousness. So this is the meaning of this is our misfortune. And so Vyasadeva, he saw this condition of the jivas, and therefore he gave us the remedy to remove all these anarthas. He gave us the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, what's next? One second. Let me make this zoom out a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so then he goes through the different four types of anarthas. And then he tells us how the three main ways we may nullify these anarthas: by engaging in Nam Sankirtan, which is the name of whom which is feared by even fear himself. But why, if fear himself is afraid of Krishna, the name, then why are we afraid? Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, because he gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhayam Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana, because we have turned away from Krishna, therefore, and we have forgotten that we are what our identity is. We are absorbed in Dvitīya and something else. That's why we have this bhaya, this fear. And so those who are intelligent, they engage in exclusive one-pointed bhakti, seeing Shri Guru as their worshipful deity and their very soul, the most dear, intimate person, like friend of their soul. He is their very soul. So taking shelter of Shri Guru, really honoring Guru and taking shelter of him. So that's the other way. And then the last, engaging in the process of bhakti, from which Gyan and Vairagya automatically arise. And then he gives this verse from Chatushloki Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the last verse from that, which explains Anvay and Vyatirik, the direct and indirect means of deliberation about Bhagavan, or the true nature of the self, Atma Tattva. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that Anvay refers to the rules of like all the things that we should do, all the favorable things that we should do for our bhajan, and Vyatirik means all the prohibitions that we must, all the things that we shouldn't do. And so now all the next verses are describing this anvay, this direct means, and Vyatirik, and the indirect means to purify ourselves. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the verses from Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita. The first verse about controlling the six urges, of the senses. And then the 6 impediments to bhakti. It's the second verse. And then the 4th verse, the 6 ways that we associate with devotees. The 6 loving exchanges between devotees. And then what's next? And then this verse about staying away, how those who want to engage in bhajan, who want to cross over this ocean of material existence, for them, even the sight of sense enjoyers and the opposite sex is more harmful to them. It's more more asadu. I don't know how you translate asadu, but yeah, more asadu than even drinking poison. And then it is forbidden. And then he gives another verse from Upadeshamrita, verse 6, how it is forbidden to judge a transcendental Vaishnava from a material viewpoint. And that verse, by Rupa Goswami, famous verse. Drishtai sabhava janatar vapushashta doshar. Devotees who are in this. Anyways, we need to get through this quickly. And then he gives 2 verses from Manashiksha, verse 7, which is about giving up the desire for pratishta, and verse 6, which is about giving up the desire for, this verse about giving up the desire for pratishta. How do we give up this desire for pratishta? Sadatam sevasya prabhudaita samantam atulam. By serving the incomparable atulam, the incomparable samantam, commanders of Krishna's army, those who are prabhudaita, who are very dear to Krishna, by serving Krishna's dear devotees, who are the generals of his army and incomparable, they will remove this desire for pratishta. And then verse 6 of Manashiksha by Raghunath Das Goswami is, why do you bathe in the donkey urine of deceit and hypocrisy when you could bathe us in the nectar ocean of the prem between Gandharva and Giridhari, Radha and Krishna? Okay, so there's pratishta, kapatata, and kutinati. And now we come to the 10 offenses to the holy name. Actually, something that would be nice to do, would be to see how all these verses relate to the 4 types of anarthas that we went through. But because I'm sure they're explaining specific anarthas, right? That we've already gone through those 4 types. So, anyways, but I didn't do that. But we know this one. Then the what is it? The third anartha was aparad, right? And so, text 23. The 10 offenses to the holy name, which should be given up without fail, are described in the Padma Puran Brahma Kanda 25, verses 15 to 18. They're also quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas 11, 521 to 524. Satang ninda namna paramamaparadang vitanute yatha kyatem yata katamusahate tar vigarham shivasya Shri Vishnor ya iha guna namari sakalam dhiya bhinnam pashyet sakalo harinama hitakara Kurorvagya Shruti Shastra Nindanam Tathartavado Harinam Nikalpanam Namno Baladyasya hi Papa Buddhir Navidyate Tasya Yamair hi Shuddhihi Dharma Vratatyaga Hutadi Sarva Shubha Kriya Samyam Api Pramadha Ashadhadhane Vimukhe Pyashinvati Yashopadesha Shivanāmāparādhah Shrutepi Namamahatme Yapriti Rahito Dhama Ahang Mamadi Paramo Namni Sopyaparadakrit. Okay, so translation. To criticize the devotees of the Supreme Lord is a grievous offense to the holy name. How can Sri Nāmāprabhu tolerate criticism of those great souls who are deeply devoted to him and who spread his glories throughout the world? Therefore, the first offense is criticism of sadhus and devotees. Second Nāmāparādha. In this world, a person who by mundane intelligence distinguishes between the all-auspicious transcendental holy name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Vishnu and the possessor of the holy name, Nami Vishnu, considering them to be independent of or different from him, as is the case with material objects, that person commits an offense to the holy name. Furthermore, one who thinks that Lord Shiva and other demigods are independent of Sri Vishnu or similar to Sri Vishnu certainly commits Nāmāparādha. Then Gurur Avagya. To disregard the Guru who is established in all the truths regarding the holy name, considering him to be an ordinary man possessing a perishable body composed of material elements. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. Number 4. To find fault with the Vedas, the eternal Puranas, and other scriptures. All the Vedas and Upanishads illuminate the glories of the holy name. To find fault with the mantras in which the holy name is glorified is Nāmāparādha. Due to misfortune, some persons neglect the Shruti mantras in which the glories of the name are indicated, and they give more honor to other instructions of the Shrutis. This is also Nāmāparādha. And then 5. Tathārtavāda. To consider the glories of Harinam to be exaggerated. The scriptures state that all of Srila Bhagavan's potencies are contained within his name, and that the holy name is completely transcendental, and therefore capable of destroying one's bondage to the material world. All these glories of the holy name are the supreme truth. One should never associate with those who have no faith in them, and who say that the scriptures exaggerates the glories of the holy name. If such a faithless person appears before one's eyes, one should take bath, still wearing the clothes he has on. This is the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have the glories of, who was it? Was it Gopal Chapal in front of Haridas Thakur? Yeah, he said that if what you're saying, these glories of the holy name that you're saying from the scriptures, if they are not an exaggeration, then may your nose fall off. And then what happened? His nose ended up falling off, right? That's an example of somebody who made this arthavad aparad. Now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, he combines these two, this 5th offense and the 6th offense together, and he makes them one. Yeah, he doesn't say this is number 5 and this is number 6. He says Tathārtavāda and Harinam Nikalpanam are both number 5. But anyhow, that's and in his Bhajana-rahasya, he doesn't give a translation for this verse. So, but generally it's understood that these are 2 separate ones. So Harinamni Kalpanam. To consider Sri Bhagavan's name to be imaginary. Mayavadis and materialistic karmavadis consider Brahma, which is without name and form, to be the supreme truth. And they say that the sages manufactured names like Rama and Krishna, thinking such names would perfect their activities. These people are Nāmāparādhas. They think the holy name is just imaginary. The name of Sri Hari is not imaginary. It is eternal and transcendental. It only manifests upon the transcendental senses only through bhakti. This is a teaching given by the bona fide Guru and Shastra. Therefore, one should acknowledge that the glories of Harinam are the supreme truth. One who considers these glories to be imaginary will never be able to receive the mercy of the holy name. Okay, and now we come to the 7th offense. well, how does the Sanskrit go? Nāmāparādhasya hi papa buddhir, I think something like that. So seven is one who has a tendency to commit sinful and material activities on the strength of the holy name cannot be purified, even if he performs superficial yoga processes such as yam, niyam, dhyan, or dharana. This is certain. Number 8, to consider religiosity, vows, renunciation, fire sacrifices, and other ordinary pious activities to be equal with or comparable to the transcendental name of the Supreme Lord is a sign of inattentiveness and carelessness, and is thus an offense. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he considers this word attentiveness to be its own separate thing. This word attentiveness or carelessness. So that's, and the word for that is pramad. And so he says that number 7, because remember he merged those two previous ones together. And so then so this would be number 7. And so he says number 7 means to think that all these different things, performing vows, renunciation, fire sacrifices, all these things to be equal to Nam, are comparable to Nam. So that's one offense. And then to be inattentive while you chant, or to be careless, inattentive, pramad, when you chant, that's its own offense. That would be number 8. And that's my favorite chapter in one of my favorite chapters in Harinam Chintamani, when he explains that one. Okay, and then number 9. To instruct the glories of the holy name to faithless persons who are averse to hearing and chanting is also Nāmāparādhas. And then the last one. Those who, in spite of hearing the astonishing glories of the holy name, still maintain the conception that I am this material body and that worldly objects of sense gratification are mine, and who show no persistence or love for the utterance of the holy name, are also Nāmāparādhas. Yes, with knowledge comes responsibility, right? Once we know the glories of the holy name, then if we don't even try to understand who I am and understand everything in relation to Krishna, then that's also a Nāmāparādha. So now Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives Bengali verses summarizing all these. He says, Sadhu anadar ar anya isha gyan, Guru ke avagyanam shastre apaman, Name arthavar nama bale papandhata, Anya shubha karma saha, Namer samata. Shraddhahine namadan, Jara sakti krame, Mahatma janiya name, Shraddha nahe brame. E dasha aparad jatne parihari, Hari name koro bhai, Bhajana chaturi. Interesting. I didn't see the Pramad one. And I also didn't see Harinamni Kalpanam because he merges them together, right? Let's just count this really quick. So there's 1 Sadhu Anadar, then 2 Anya Isha Gyan. So disrespecting sadhus, Anya Isha Gyan, considering others to be the supreme, right? That's Anya Isha Gyan. Oops, wrote. Okay, now we come to Guru Ke Avagya, disobeying Shri Guru, Nam Shastre Apaman, and disregarding the name in Shastras, or the glories of the name in the Shastras. Then Name Artavad, to consider the name to be just Artavad, it's just words, it's just an exaggeration, or it's just imaginary. So Name Artavad, and then number 6, Nam Bole Papandhata, boldly committing sins on the strength of the name. thinking Harinam is so powerful, so I'm just going to do the simple activity and then I'll nullify it with Harinam. No, that's actually an aparadha Harinam, what to speak of purifying yourself. By that, you're actually offending Harinam that way. Then number 7, Anya Shubha Karma Saha Namer Samata. Considering, like equal, considering the name to be equal, comparing that, Samata, comparing the name with Anya Shubha Karma, with other types of pious acts, good pious deeds. And then number 8 is Shraddha Hine Nam Dan, to bestow the name Nam Dan to those who are devoid of Shraddha, who are Shraddhahin. Huh. And then number 9 is Jarasakti Krame. So to be attached to the material things, material objects, and this sense of I and mine, like that. Jarasakti. Huh, it seems I only count 9 here, though. I don't count 10. That's interesting. Yeah, it seems like the Pramad one, the one about inattentiveness, is missing from this. Anyways, Mahatma Janiya Name Shraddha Nahe Brahme. So, Mahatma Janiya, so understanding the glories of the name Name Shraddha Nahe Brahme, the fault of not having Shraddha in the name, not having faith in the name, even after knowing its glories. This fault, these are the Dasha Aparad Jatne Parihari. With great care, we must give up these 10 offenses. Hariname Korobai Bhajana Chaturi, and engage in Harinam. Chant Harinam, O brother, being very expert in bhajan. This is expertise in bhajan. Something like that. So I wonder, okay, Jara Shakti Krame, Mahatma Janiya Name Shraddha Nahe Prame. Maybe Jara Shakti Krame. Maybe that refers to the inattentiveness being, no. Mahatma Janiya Name Shraddha Nahe Prame. Interesting. I wonder if this would be like a 10th one. Anyhow, I don't know. This is a question I have now. I can ask somebody. So now our Srila Gurudev's Bhajana-rahasya vritti, he pretty much gave the vritti in the translation, extended translation of these verses. So he just says, skillfulness in bhajan is bhajan chaturi, skillfulness in bhajan is to perform bhajan in association of devotees while carefully avoiding these 10 offenses. All right, it is 7:58, so I think we can end here. Tomorrow we will read about false renunciation is prohibited. Yeah, what is false renunciation? And that one should give up niyamagraha and follow the essence of all injunctions, which is to remember Vishnu and never forget him. All other rules and prohibitions are subservient to these 2 principles. And then do not endeavor to perform activities. Anyway, so we'll go through these verses tomorrow. Yeah, that's our program for today. So, yeah, okay, I'll just end here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai, Jai Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki Jai, Jai Shri Tadir Shubha Tirobhav Titi Viraha Mahotsav ki Jai, Jai Shri. Sorry, I completely just like fell asleep there. I don't even know what I did. That was weird. I've been a bit underslept these past few days. Let me just start over. Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Swaparsha Ji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. The festivals for Rupa Goswami going on all over the world ki jai, and those who are participating in those festivals ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, who is Rupanuga Pravaraya, right? He is the foremost of Rupanugas. And Jai Shri Bhajana-rahasya ki jai, Jai Shri Śikṣāṣṭaka ki jai, Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Yashoda Didi, Champak Mataji, Nanda Nandan Prabhu, Rukmini Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Vidyalalasa Didi, Ghana Sham Prabhu, and I see there are 9 devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook. Dandavat pranams to all of you. I'm guessing Indira Mataji is there. And then all devotees who are watching in the future, like Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Revati Didi, sorry, my brain's not working. Sorry, Sachi Devi, oh my God, Jai Prabhu, Krishna Rose, Manjari Didi, and everybody else watching, Dandavat Pranams. Haribol. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow to read about what is false renunciation, what is the purpose of all the rules and regulations in Shastra, and what are the other topics? I think it goes into Nam Tattva. Why, how can I chant this name when the material senses have no can't touch something that's transcendental, right? So all these will all be the topics for our reading tomorrow. All right. Jai Shri Radhe. Haribol. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end today's program? Okay. I hope you all have a wonderful celebration of Srila Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, and see you all tomorrow. Haribol.